Welcome back to the SCIF. I'm Matt. That is Stu. We want to apologize for last week. That was all on me. I tried to get the damn thing up. I had a little problem. I couldn't get StreamYard to mesh with Rumble. So I apologize for those of you that were waiting. I was trying to talk to you via chat. Taking full ownership of the embarrassment of my fuck up. But that's what the issue was. Stu was off doing some shit out in the West Coast, and now we're back. So, Stu, do you have anything you want to say for yourself?
No, I don't. I'm just, again, I apologize for Matt's inability to get it up, and all of you that were disappointed in that fact. You won't be the first or the last.
There you go.
But got a good show coming up here today. There's the big news, and Matt and I were just talking about it and trying to find out the latest on it right before we went live, is the big, beautiful bill and the parts of it that are near and dear to our heart concerning the NFA and suppressors, short barrel rifles, that sort of thing. And what was going on with that?
And welfare for illegals, all the good shit they were pulling out of the bill, this parliamentarian. But I'm going to get off on a diatribe, and I don't. So yeah, the NFA was just one of the things there, the NFA stuff that she pulled out, and she has no power, by the way. This is the rhinos running for cover and using her as an excuse. This one was emplaced by Harry Reid and John Thune, who we all know is a real shitbag. Okay, he is not working for you. This guy is working for his masters, not the people he represents or any of us. We told you this. You guys knew it as soon as he became the Senate Majority Leader. This is the right-hand man of Mitch McConnell. He's been a rhino and a swamp creature from way back when. So he had the ability to remove this woman, but he didn't want to remove her because they want to blame her, right? So they don't have to say no on it and not vote for it. They'll blame it on her when they could easily remove her.
Matt, it's just like everything else when the Congress has enacted all of these agencies and empowered them to interpret the regulation and enforce it as they see fit, because they don't want to be the ones doing it. It gives them an out. It gives them a, well, I didn't do that. That's the EPA. I didn't do that. That's the ATF. I didn't do that. That's, whatever. That's, whatever other, crap you want to throw at it. It gives them deniability to go back to their constituents and say, I'm fighting against that. It's this government agency that's out of control. They don't have to do anything. Therefore, they don't have to be accountable for anything. Correct. And they're using this woman's position as the exact same thing. She's doing the work they want her to do. They probably told her, pull this stuff out and give her she's got some flimsy reason for it. And they can say, hey, not our fault.
You know why? Because organizations like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other big business organizations want the illegal immigration here, and they want it subsidized because they want to pay cheap ass labor subsidized by your taxpayer dollars. Your taxpayer dollars going to pay for their SNAP benefits. Your taxpayer dollars going to pay for their health care benefits. Your taxpayer dollars going to pay for their education and every other want and need these illegal aliens should have, right? That's what they want. So these individuals don't work for us. Now, here's the problem. Everybody's like, well, you don't pass the bill. You have the Thomas Massey's, and you've got the Rand Paul has been more consistent than most, but still, you're not going to get anything passed, and it's going to come to a complete stall. 0 Democrats voted for this. 0. It's going to come to a complete stall. So this pile of shit that we got is the best bill we are going to get, and we need to get it because the tax cuts are in there, the funding for ICE are in there to get these shit bags out of our country. Alligator Alcatraz opened today. So we need to get the bill passed, okay? And then we need to deal. Here's the part due of all of this, right? We need to get rid of these freaking right? As many as we can. This upcoming election is so important. Everybody who stood in the way of this bullshit, right? Who had their own little things. Lisa Murkowski held everything up. Her vote had to be bought off with food stamps, folks, with food stamps, right? You know, you've got Tom Tillis, who I told you was a shitbag, and you guys knew from before, who's now retiring, so he didn't give a shit. He's going to burn everything down that Trump's trying to do on the way out.
Like we said, Matt, he's pulling a McCain. He just wants to flip the double bird and strut off as if he actually accomplished something. It's it's the deal, like, you know, playing chess with the pigeon. They're going to knock all the pieces off, shit all over the board, and then strut off like they accomplished something. That's what these people are doing.
Oh yeah. So and so this is the best that we can do is to get this pushed through. And there's no other option. You can't say back and say, oh, I'm, you know, Thomas Massey and I'm so pure. The things he wants are right? But it ain't ever going to happen. So what are we going to do? We're going to fall into the Democrats' hands, and then we're just going to do nothing, right? Let the taxes increase. That's the way for Democrats.
We talked about this the other day. As much as we would like the structure and the function of the Congress to be different, it's been continuing resolutions and omnibus bills for the past 2 decades. That shit isn't changing. I mean, when was the last time we had a budget under Clinton?
Yeah.
That shit isn't changing. That is the way things are done now, because that's the way they have structured it. So to then say, well, I'm not going to support it because that's the way it's structured. Motherfucker, look around.
Well,
you and your cohorts are the ones that structured it that way.
Here's the thing. When you look at things all entailed, there is good stuff in this bill. I don't want to shit all over it completely, okay? It just isn't what we all voted for. We all voted for this shit. And with these congressmen and these senators don't give a shit. And Rand Paul, by standing in front of this and saying no matter what, right, made us go to Lisa Murkowski and make the bill even worse with the food stamps, because now we needed that vote. So, you know, it's a failure on Rand Paul for not getting more of his cohorts to see things the way he sees things. It's a failure on Thomas Massey not getting his cohorts to see the things the way but he knows damn well. Anybody that is a Republican that considers themselves moderate, or these rhinos that we all know they are Democrats in sheep's clothing. So we got to get the bill through, because we desperately need the tax cuts, and we need to get our economy thumping, the stuff in there for drilling. We need border security. We need to start deporting these illegals. We've had a couple wins in the Supreme Court, right? We need to start deporting them en masse, and then go back, and we need to deal with the mess that is our Congress, these rhinos in Congress, in the House and in the Senate. You know, there's something else I want to bring up here. Stu, have you ever seen this? There's a YouTube channel. It's an SF guy, and he's received, you know, he's built this channel, and I think it's got 200,000 followers, and he's only been up two years or so. Okay. But he seems now that he is trying to build his channel. And I don't want to, I'm making a guess here. I don't want to shit all over the guy. I don't, because he has had some stuff on that's pretty good. But it seems lately he's trying to build this channel on shitting on other soft dudes and bashing Trump in every way he possibly can. And it looks like he's getting his news stories from CNN and Candace Owens. By the way, Candace Owens has lost her freaking mind. She's lost her mind. She's married into one of the richest families in Great Britain, right? And she has lost her mind. So I used to like Candace Owens a lot. She's unrecognizable today. Unrecognizable. But all of this bashing Trump and then taking talking points that some of them we're going to talk about a little bit later, trying to get clicks, to me, that's the way it seems to me. And I don't like it. I don't like it. And if you challenge the guy,
there's a lot of them that and not just, you know, particular individuals in any particular area, they see what drives the clicks, whether it's hate watching, whether, you know, whatever it is, if it drives that click, that becomes the primary concern. It's not, you know, doing the show, doing what it becomes not even doing and saying what you believe. It becomes the audience capture. You're giving the audience what they want instead of your audience coming because they like what you have.
You're playing into the shit. And what's going to happen? We're our own worst enemies, even in the gun community. You've heard me talk about this. What you're doing is trying to disenfranchise, and you're using leftist arguments to the name of the YouTube channel is Valhalla VFT. That's the YouTube channel. Okay. And I'm not saying the guy's a bad guy or anything. I've tried talking to him a few times. He's been wrong about everything. You know, he watches them do interviews with the Shah's son, and he thinks he gets some grand idea. Oh, we're going to put him in. We're going to remove the regime in Iran. Oh, we're going to put the Shah's son in. You know how stupid that is? The Shah has almost as bad a reputation as the Ayatollahs in Iran. So we're going to put the Shah's son in. Give me a freaking break. What happened there needed to happen. We're getting on a bunch of different subjects. What happened there needed to happen. We're not putting boots on the ground. It looks like it ended the war. Okay. And everything that he seems like he's been doing lately on that channel has been absolutely wrong. And if you ask him questions, if you challenge him on it, he starts with the name calling. Because I've, in the comments was trying to talk to him, and he immediately, that's when somebody doesn't have an argument, they go to the name calling. And he thinks he's been right on everything. He's been wrong on everything. We were going to have $10 a gallon gas if we bombed Iran. That's what he was telling people. And the Iranians were going to sink our ships going through the Straits of Hormuz. He said we were going to replace the Ayatollahs with the son of the Shah. What was the other one? Oh, we were going to get into World War III. He's been wrong on everything. And it just seems to me he should know better than this. And if he doesn't, if he does, he's just trying to get clicks. So I just wanted to put that little rant. I don't know if any of you guys out there have seen his channel. And
I've never watched it.
Some of the stuff was good, especially the earlier stuff. And like I said, I don't want to shit on the guy at all. I don't want to do that. I don't want to, this has been going around a lot. Veterans shitting on other veterans, especially in the special operations community, which I don't agree. And I think
it's everybody's trying to get ahead, trying to get their nut and just shitting on whoever's around to do it.
Yeah, he's doing another live stream, I think, tonight, shitting all over Tim Kennedy again. It's like, holy smokes, hasn't this been beaten to death at this stage? Hasn't it been beaten to death? Right?
Nope, rage content, man. Get the hate watching and the rage clicks.
And he isn't the only one by any means. I don't like it. I don't like it, So anyways, I had to get that off my chest a little bit. What else do we have on the docket tonight, Stu?
We've got CNN pushing an app that will allow people to track ICE in their local area. And they're getting a ton of pushback and heat off of that. We're going to talk and what you had just brought up with Iran and everything else, and the mainstream media's absolute dead sprint to declare it an abject failure before the smoke had cleared on anything. We're gonna talk about that, and we're going to dissect the headline that the Washington Post put up concerning it. Because it's interesting when you read the headline and actually think about it. It just shows how our enemies will take advantage of our media to our own detriment, and they gleefully allow it.
I think the media is a willing accomplice, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely willing accomplice.
Rooting for Iran, I mean, in a bunch of this stuff. And
you can't make it up. You really can't.
No.
One of the last things we have is, when Trump first came in his first term, his big push was to get all of these European countries to pay their share of NATO, because their share is 5%. And some of them, I don't think there were any paying 5%.
Nope. Their share was 2.5%. They just made it 5%. Trump just made it 5%. None of them were even
I
doing
thought
the
it
2.5.
always been 5.
No,
Are
I
you sure?
promise you. I'm 100% positive. It used to be 2%. It used to be 2% or 2.5%, right? And Trump basically got them all to bring up to 2%, right? And this last go round, that was in his previous administration. When he was running here, he was saying he was going to get them to go to 5. And everybody's like, "Oh, no way will they go to 5." Well, sure as shit, he goes out there, and they're all going to 5, with the exception of Spain, and they will be going to 5 as well. But
yeah, you're right. It was 2%. I could have sworn it was 5 all along. You're right. Yeah. It was 2%.
So,
but even at 2%, there were
nobody was doing it.
2%.
Yeah. We were subsidizing members, all of them. Yeah.
Yep. And here, NATO members have agreed to a new 5% over the next decade, but apparently Spain is pushing back on that and basically refusing to, and Trump's threatening them with tariffs if they don't get on board. And then we have the alligator Alcatraz that we're going to be talking about here.
Which is literally right up the street from where I'm sitting right now. It is literally, I know exactly where it's right up the street. Yep. We'll talk about that some more, but I saw some other shit on that just makes you laugh. Alligators don't kill people. Do you know this? They don't attack people.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's really not that dangerous. All right. Okay. It's not that dangerous, and we'll talk about that when we get there. I just learned that on CNN and MSNBC.
So then what's the problem? Why is everybody crying about it?
I don't know why, but it's hurting the environment, according to them. An airstrip that was already there, right? And now we're putting beds and everything. It's hurting the environment.
We're worried about the environment, trying to get illegal rapists and gang members out of the country. But, please, won't you think of the alligators that you're harming?
Please.
What's wrong with these people?
Every 750,000 is one less Democrat seat. Every 750,000 illegals we get out of the country is one less Democrat seat. And there's some talk about redoing the census. We need to push our congressman to make sure we do that, because
the census should absolutely be U.S. citizens.
Completely fraudulent too. Florida, which is the fastest growing state in the country, only got one additional seat in the census under Joe Biden. Yeah. One additional seat. And they have the next census scheduled for 2029. Not good enough. This last census was completely fraudulent. Guess where the state that was losing all the people got more seats, right? California. Yeah. Right? It's insane. So Texas and Florida were denied seats. California got extra seats. It's all a scam. This is the grift with the illegals. There's many different grifts. This is the main grift with the Democrat Party, right? So, is there anything else, Stu?
No, that's pretty much it. Freedom did post that Susan Collins voted to give Medicaid to illegals, and she's worth $40 million. And you had a very good point that I didn't even think of earlier with Rand Paul and Thomas Massey, standing on whatever they're standing on to refuse to vote for it. You're right. That forced us to go and make these concessions to these other rhinos that did the exact Medicaid for illegals. How much money is your little moral temper tantrum going to cost the American taxpayer because you couldn't be bothered to participate in the structure that you've been a party to building in the way these bills are structured and presented now?
Yeah. What I want to reiterate, hey, what they're standing on is right. What they're standing on is 100% right, but we can't get it passed. We can't get it passed. Not right now. And if we don't pass something, okay, if we don't pass this bill to move it forward, and I know, listen to what you're saying and this and that, we lose, right? Yep. We will lose the midterms. We will not get the economy thumping. We will not be able to afford all these deportation efforts that we have going on right now because we're not going to have the budget for it, right? And if we let those tax if we let those tax increases happen and we lose the Trump tax cuts, right, then our economy will go right into the shitter, which is exactly what the Democrats and the left and the people that are working to destroy this country want. So you're playing right into their hands. We cannot at this time and stage get the perfect bill that we all want. We can't get it. That is a failure on us because we've elected rhinos and we have not held their feet to the fire. We've elected rhinos in the House and in the Senate, right? We got to get them in the primaries. That's where we need to get them. So that's where we sit. You can't just sit and do nothing. And we're not going to get the bill that we all want pushed through. We're going to try to get as much shit as we can that we want pushed through. So that's the reality of life. And these are decisions you have to make. You know, I didn't want Trump going in and bombing Iran, but I knew he had to bomb Iran. I knew he had to. Right? That's called leadership, making a decision you know you're going to catch flack for because it's the right thing to do. Right? You cannot allow them to get a nuclear weapon, period. It sucks because we don't want new wars and we don't want any of this other bullshit. But I believe his actions there prevented another war. Not maybe right now, but somewhere down the road, it prevented the war. So you got to trust the guy who has taken all the incoming. Can he make mistakes? Absolutely. But you got to have some sort of trust in him because, boy, he's batting close to 1,000. He really is.
That is true.
Yeah.
So you ready to bounce off of YouTube over to Rumble and get started on covering some of our stories?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's pop smoke here. YouTube sucks. We're going to go over to Rumble. The jury's still out on Rumble. We've got Stu and I have some discussions with Rumble that we've got to make. But
yeah, we're going to try and make some calls when Matt comes by here later this week and see if we can figure out some issues. Otherwise, we unfortunately we might be forced back over to YouTube. We just have to figure out what's going on and see what's happening.
Don't